Hey YouTube, welcome back to another capybara video. Get ready, capybaras, bite me. What's happening is something completely absurd. Because after 2 years of complete disappearance, the mysterious, intriguing ELEPHANT38 who plays with the Brazilian flag in TAS with him has returned. Raffael chess, I can't believe it. Air it and check the dates. Since November 4th on the far right, it shows 2023. ELEPHANT38 had disappeared from the TS platform with E and returned on September 28, 2025, as if nothing had happened. And this video I'm bringing today of ELEPHANT38's return match could also be a reveal video. Because I got a bunch of comments on Instagram from people noticing this return and saying, Raffael chess, I think ELEPHANT38 is SUP. Oh boy, this is going to turn into a huge fuss. I don't know what's going on. Could we have some revelations or not? But of course, we know that SUP has more than 3,000 note TIAs with ELEPHANT38. In this game, he has 3,043. And he was playing against the International Master, and also noticed that Elephant changed his repertoire. In this game, he played in Italian. Let's look at this in detail. Share your comment or guess below if you're as surprised, anxious, and overwhelmed as I am. Now, let's move to the next one. For this explosive game, it's now E's turn with white. ELEPHANT38 versus a tough international master rated nearly 3,000. Elefante continued with the king's pawn equatrino. Whoa, here comes an Italian game. Here's the first mystery. I can't recall if Elefante played the Italian game. Amid the many Instagram messages, they mentioned Raffael chess, but he's an Italian game specialist and Elefante is playing it. But look at the style. That alone isn't conclusive, but it is some indication. Note the International Master retreats with D6, a solid move, followed by C3 to prepare D4. And quickly the game takes a chaotic turn. So, the International Master calls for war. Not knowing what the elephant likes most, sharp tactical positions is key, and that's exactly what's about to happen. It starts here with a more solid move. For the moment, F4 has been played and the plans are already set. Raffael, what nonsense, what a plan. Black intends here an avalanche on the king's side, and what's left for white is also an avalanche on the queen's side. It's about to become the sharpest, most chaotic position you've ever seen. B4 already plays the bishop. It fits right into the announced plan. Queen f6 is an active move, already bringing the queen into the future attack in a4. Both sides keep following the plan. g5 plays the bishop. And now comes the first threat. Now with the move by the bishop on 38, Raffael, what's the threat? To win the knight? So, you see, it's not a random move. There's always an idea behind it. This is the highest level you can see. Knight to e7 defends, and a5 expands on that flank. Queen to g4 follows. The International Master nudges the colt. The knight can't fall. It goes to d2 and h5. The position is sharp. Now here comes a ghost for both players because the black king and the white king are going to play in the center. Castling queen's side for black seems risky, but castling king's side for white looks even riskier. b5 played. The bishop touches the knight. The knight goes back to the first rank, so it's already a pretty passive piece. And now the move knight to a3 both sides have to develop. So they've spent a lot of time with pawns. But it makes sense. Up to this point, bishop to h6 is played, and now d4 is the first provocative move of the game. So queen to b3 comes next. The first threats. Because it looks like white is giving up the d4 pawn, which the International Master didn't take. He played f3. I'm referring to Raffael chess. They make it easier. Why don't they play what needs to be played? Which is to take the pawn. Because there's a trick here and you get stabbed in the ear and here everything falls apart for you. It could even be in the horns, depending on who it is. The opponent gets completely lost. So, you see there's always some trickery. Now, look how MI reacted well. In this situation, he played f3, which looks like he's just expanding, right? He actually wants to take the d4 pawn. So this move f3 is to capture the pawn under better conditions than taking it directly. That would be an endless blunder. The capture on f3 happened, and now you see the International Master's plan. He takes d4. Raffael chess, what changed? I don't get it. After the recapture, he plays queen takes d4, which seems like the move he didn't have before. But you don't have bishop to b2 because earlier, when he played the move f3, he opened up the bishop. So if you play bishop to b2, you lose the knight with check. Look at how these players deal with these situations, which are complex. Plus, the rook is threatened. So the white's move suddenly could go wrong. But there is a move that keeps everything working, which is knight to c2. Look at this move. It attacks the queen. also attacks the rook. The queen has to move. Now make your move. Bishop to b2 for a strong attack. Raffael chess, white is winning because they're going to win an exchange. Doesn't win the exchange. Up to here, it was still calculated because black can play bishop to d2, then king to d2, delivering check. Notice the queen is no longer threatened by the bishop. When should you block this check? With the queen exchange proposal ELEPHANT38 played, he wants to reach an endgame by improving his pieces, still attacking that rook. I told Melson, if you want to trade, go ahead. He defended everything. But of course, positions like these, with both kings in the center, nothing is clear. Here, what you can notice is that white has a development advantage. The pieces are very active, the bishops with their diagonals skewed, pointing toward the king's side. At this point, knight to d4 was played, further developing the pieces. Well, you can always trade, but this position isn't clear. White is very active. The exchange happened on f3, and now a file has opened. See how they think. Rook moves to g1, ready to use the file. You're allowing a key strategic theme. Bishop to h3 is a tactical move aiming to play bishop to g2 and capture the rook on h1. The position remains tense. Rook to g7 was played, followed by bishop to g2. Rook to c1, incredible position. But white is winning here. If you play the right way the whole time, white should win. There's the threat of bishop to b3 and everything is falling apart. White already has a rook in. Activity is very important, especially with the opponent's king in the center. How is it? Here comes the move to c5. It's logical to try to block the c file. But that's not so easy, because now comes the capture and then the recapture. It looks like everything is fine in black's position. You're going to bring the king to d7, then you try to connect the rooks. But here comes the first brilliant bomb of this game. Look at this play. Knight to b5, it looks like an impossible move to play. It's on the board. I really missed watching the elephant play. This is unbelievable chess. Well, this move threatens the fork. That would instantly end the game by winning the rook on a8. So rook to b8 was played to defend Raffael. But then, again, the same theme. Why didn't you take the knight? Because you lose the game and it's forced. Take bishop, capture on b5. The king is trapped with no moves, so you'll have to sacrifice a piece. And there's more brilliance coming. You take rook on c6. Look, how incredible, because when you recapture, you get this check. And here the game is over, because after king d8, I win. I can trade queens first if I want. In the end game, it's totally won. The position shines. So knight b5 is a bomb. You'll have to defend. Rook b8 is played, so at least you get out of the fork, but now you get hit with the move. Queen takes f4. After the recapture, everything falls apart with the move knight d6. Now, how do these guys see something like this? It's unreal, because the position is still very dynamic. I'm giving a check. See that now king d7 is played, which is attacking the knight. And there's a bishop hanging here on b2. In other words, it's a confusing position. Next comes bishop e5 hitting the rook, creating a discovered attack and threatening the knight on f5. How will you survive? What a chess game, huh? Completely absurd. Rook g4 has been played, and in the middle of the biggest storm ever seen. Inside a chess game here, rook h7, a calm move. Keep the rook, the pin threats, and the knight to f5 idea. The rook on g4 is useless. Rook b4 has been played to get active, but he's in time trouble. Now knight to f5. This position is lost with endless destruction and the knight falling, but the international master refused to resign. So he took on e4, saying that he's also threatening here and there, but here he's going to get caught in a net. Of mate losing a piece, the rook the knight on e7 falls. After king c8, you can also play bishop a6. You'll encounter many mating themes here, but it's not much better than mating yourself. Already capturing the rook, that's what was played. King b8, the rook falls with a discovered check. And here, the international master resigned. This game truly impresses me, not just a little. Could this style of play be similar to SUP's style? Comment below, I'm curious. This question is for everyone following the series, whether it applies or not. But he's back and he's on air, and the accuracy of the match is on air. And don't let it go unnoticed. Almost 90% in a chaotic match like this one? That's something brutal. Knight to b5 is a brilliant move. Stockfish could have shown more brilliancies but held back, and the king is exposed. The elephant at this moment goes to 3,037. His record is 3,050. Share your thoughts below. Who do you think it is, and why did he return? every video with news. Don't forget to like it, and see you in the next videos.